You wanna help me change my camera because I might need it on that side. So right now we're gonna be on that side, so we're gonna change that. Okay, so you're responsible for that?
Yeah, I do. I feel
Okay. So we're gonna talk about things. So right now we're gonna talk about the SAT tips. It's very crucial you understand this because if you understand this 2 weeks later when you're taking the SAT, it's gonna help you. Just a simple tips that help you eliminate a lot of choices. Okay, just look at the slope. Okay, look at the slope. We can talk about all those slope things. And this is a full diagram I'll actually share with you that it's going to be very simple tips. So even you don't know the answer, you just understand the simple ideas, you can eliminate 2 or 3 choices and you can get the right answer. Okay. So we're going to talk about those. So first of all, let's start with what does positive slope look like? So positive slope is equal to positive. And that function is going to look like this. If it's a positive, it's always going this way. And how do I determine that this way? Just think about if I have a man that's sitting on this line, and if I look to the right, is I see the incline. If I see the positive, then that means there's a positive slope. Okay? Abel, yeah, pay attention now so we can talk about those. Okay? Elida, can you see? Those people in the back, you can move forward if you cannot see. Okay? If a slope is equal to negative, that you're gonna have this man that's sitting on this line, and this man is always looking to the right, like how you read from left to right. But he reading from left, that's gonna go down. If it goes down, then it's going to be a negative slope. So if you look at this man, it's going up. It's an incline, it's a positive slope. If you look at here, it's a decline. Because I could say I'm looking on the left, then you see incline, so you cannot really tell it's positive or negative slope. Those are the simple things that you can tell. You can eliminate choices on your SAT, even though you don't know absolutely nothing about slope. The next thing is we're going to talk about is how do I graph y equal to 2? How do I graph y equal to 2? Is that vertical line or horizontal lines?
That's horizontal. That's the word.
No.
It's like this.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
100%.
Okay, because a lot of you guys probably think about a vertical line because y is a vertical, is a y coordinate. So that's good. So you can tell me that is a horizontal line, that's good. So it'll be 1, 2, because it doesn't matter. If I were to do t-chart, right, x and y, the y is always equal to 2. And I can say 0, 1, 2, 3. So 0, 1, 2, 3. That's always the same y value. So that's y equal to 2. So we can talk about that as well. What is slope of this line? Very important. Slope of horizontal line is what?
0.
Well, if this man is sitting on right here, right? He's looking to the right. He doesn't feel like it's positive or negative. So it's gonna be, he doesn't feel anything. It's gonna be 0 slope. Does that make sense? Now we're gonna talk about the next thing. What if you have x equal to negative 3?
Yeah.
X equal to negative 3, that means x always equal to negative 3, doesn't matter what y value is. So if you go to negative 3, 1, 2, 3, and then it's a straight line. And so this man is right here, is looking to his right, okay? He's about to fall, but we don't know what happened to him. We don't know what happened to him, so we're gonna say undefined. So slope is equal to undefined because we don't know what happened. I don't know if you guys like Fearless and Ferb. I like Fearless and Ferb.
Oh, I used to watch them.
There's one episode. There's one episode that he just fall in the hole, that infinite hole, and he keep on falling.
Yeah.
And he keep on falling. After 20 minutes, he's still falling, and he's screaming first 20 minutes. And after 20 minutes later, he's like, wait, what am I screaming? I'm not really blending on somewhere. So it's like, and they start chatting to each other. It's like, this is cool, and they start talking to each other. It's like, we're never gonna touch the floor. So this is what happened, but we don't know what happened to it, so we're gonna call it undefined. We don't know if he died or not. We just say undefined. So they keep on falling, okay? So then you say, okay, well, why is those help me? Because we're gonna, using all those, and we're gonna talk about the graph. So now, also another thing I would like to talk about is y equal to mx plus b. So in this case, y equal to mx plus b, we're gonna just,
Zero.
This is 0, 1.
okay, so when you graph a straight line, always worry about b first. B is where you begin. So b is stand for where you begin. But b is also known as something.
The one.
Okay, so that is actually incorrect answer, but it was tricky because your algebra 1 told you always b is what your y-intercept is. But the thing is, it's not really y-intercept if you just have a number. The y-intercept should have been as its coordinate. So it should be 0b. It's always 0b. So 0 is x, and b is going to give you the y value. So that's 0b is your y-intercept. Slope, however, is equal to rise over run, and I can never pronounce right. People don't think like I say rice and run, but it's not rice. It's rice, run. Okay, so what else I need the people to know is this: if this is a positive on the numerator, is a positive, is up. If it's negative, it's down. It's very, very crucial you understand this for piecewise. Because I could go both ways. We're going to talk about this a little bit more. So positive is up, negative is down, and then you say if it's a positive, and downstairs is going to be going to the right. If it's negative, it's going to go to the left. Okay. Now I'm going to construct an equation, and this is called piecewise equation. This piecewise equation is going to help you to graph this and also determine everything. I'm going to use 3 different colors to represent 3 different equations, but they are in one piece of graph. So then we're going to talk about what happened. What is the equation that we're going to deal with? So the equation that I'm going to deal with is f of x. We're going to call this f of x. That's not good. Why did I move it around? Oh, you changed it? Thank you. Just switch there. So I'm going to take a screenshot. That. Here in the middle. Take a screenshot. There you go. Okay. So f of x. We're going to call this f of x here, and we're going to do this thing called, I don't know what it's called. It's like something like
Yeah.
like this.
It's not bad.
So I already know how to draw that. So the first function I'm going to use is a blue one. No, I can't tell, I'm colorblind. This is a blue line. Okay, so this is the first function. I'm going to call the first function is a blue line, so it's going to be f of x. Oops, not f of x. We already have f of x. Very bad job.
We just cleaned that board.
I know, I'm so
That's
sorry.
our hard work. Just made it work. I'm just starting it.
Okay, so we're going to call this 4. This function is 4. And the 4 is going to be x is less than -2. This is called restriction. Okay? You can open up your, so if you get a chance, open your computer, go to decimal.com, and we're going to show you how to graph that. Okay? But, so that's the first function, the blue function. So the second function, I'm going to use the red line. The red line is going to be 1/2 x plus 2. Plus 2, okay. And then the condition is going to be x is less than equal to x. Now we're gonna do equal to. It's gonna be -2 and then 2.
Okay.
Okay? The last one is a purple one. The purple one is gonna be a next one. So the purple one is gonna be -3/2 x plus 1. Plus 1, okay? When the x is greater than 2. And we're gonna say greater or equal to 2. Okay, so now on the bottom line is I'm gonna use this line, I'm gonna draw a line. Now you don't have to do this on your thing, so we're gonna start with a restriction. I always start with a restriction to understand what a restriction means. But how do I graph on decimal? It's gonna graph 3 different equations, and you're gonna use something called a brace. A brace is gonna look like this. So a brace is gonna look like this. It's right next to the bracket. So you can try it right now, graph the first one, and you can graph the first line, it will show you the brace. So that brace is gonna help you to graph that part of portions. So let's see that a little bit. Now we're gonna also construct a number line based on those. This is the restrictions to show you what happened here. Okay, so at here, I'm gonna use a blue one. The blue one is gonna go from -infinity to -2, which is right here. So here, we're gonna call this to here, to this part, is gonna be the function 1, which is we're gonna call this function 1. Second part is I'm gonna go from -2 to +2 is gonna be the red line. So it's gonna be here, and we're gonna call this function 2. And the last one, I'm gonna go from here and on, is gonna go from function 3. So this is a 1, this is a 2, this is a 3. That's kind of told me the restriction. Let's start over again. That x is less than -2. That means it's -2. Anything less than -2, I'm gonna graph this functions. How many of you guys are lost? Anything less than -2, because the x is right here, is less than -2. I'm going to use this function.
That goes to infinity?
Yeah, it's going to -infinity. Yes, Bryce?
When you graph all of those, it looks like this.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that, but we're going to talk about graph by hand. Okay, so this part here is going to look like this, so it's going to look at something like that. Yeah, we're going to talk about this, and we're going to use decimal to graph it. And we're going to use this too to graph it, and we're going to use this to graph it too. So now we're gonna say, okay, let's graph this. So 4 means what? Well, 4 is like this, right? Y equal to 4, that means it's a horizontal line. But all the way to what? You're gonna stop at where? -2. So I'm gonna draw a line going from here, and I'm gonna go, oh, that's not wrong color.
Blue.
It's a blue color, so you guys have to remind me. The blue color is gonna be what? This one here. When do I stop? -2. And then it's gonna be open circle or not? Open circle, good. How many of you guys are lost with first functions? Raise your hand if you do. Yes.
Just why the circle?
Why? Because it is less than, because it cannot equal to that value. So that's why it's open circle, because I cannot equal to that value. The next one is what? Well, we're gonna use the red one. So the red one is gonna be 1/2 x plus 2, right? So 1/2 x plus 2, that means going to here. Y-intercept is what? What is y-intercept? 0, 2, good. So that's 0, 2 is gonna be right here, this dot right here, right? What is my slope? It's 1/2 positive, right? So that means what? Up 1, right 2, right? Because they're both positive. Or they can be both negative also. What's negative over negative? Positive. So I can say up 1, right 2, or what? -1, -2 is going to be down 1 and left 2. Good. So they can be understood both ways. So you understand from both ways. So it's gonna go from this point, I'm gonna go to the right first. Going up 1, right 2, here. And is that open circle? No, yeah, that's open circle because this part is open circle. And then I'm gonna connect this line and then stop here because I don't wanna pass this because restriction says from -2 to +2. Are you lost? Are you sure? Everybody's lost? Now, I'm gonna go backwards for this line because I'm gonna grab from here to here, this red part, because that's what a restriction told me. It's gonna go from here to here, and it's gonna be open circle or closed circle? Open. Because this is open, right? And this is open, right? This is a horrible marker.
Yeah.
I was trying.
Are we okay here?
Yes.
No.
The next one is a really difficult one. The next one is when x is greater than 2. But x greater than 2, you say, okay, it's graphing from here to here. But the problem is y-intercept is what? 1, right? 0, 1. Not just 0, 1. And what is my slope? -3/2. That means what? I usually prefer negative sign on the top, but in this case, I had to be both case. So it's gonna be down 3, and then what? Right 2, good. So down 3, right 2, or it's equal to 3/-2. That means what? Up 3, left 2. Remember, that negative sign could be on the top, still represent negative slope. Or negative sign could be down here, still represent negative slope.
That's the same thing.
Okay, that's the same thing. But which one I prefer though? You probably prefer this one, down 3, right 2, because we can graph this right side of functions, right? We're not going both sides, so now we're gonna say, hey,
I have a question.
yes.
It's probably stupid, but if you were to go left, wouldn't that bother you with the number line?
We're gonna talk about that in a second. Let me finish this part, and then we'll see that. Okay, so what's the y-intercept? 0, 1, right? So it's right here, right? But do I really graph from here to here? That's not what the restriction told me, right? But they say is this one, we're gonna use the right one. So it's gonna be down 3, so it'll be 1,
I see.
2, 3, right 2. Are we okay here? So this one from here to here. But do I graph this part? No, because that's not what the restriction told me. But I'm gonna graph the continuous line. I'm gonna go down 3, right 2 is gonna be here. Down 3, right 2 is right here. So the line is we're not gonna graph this part because you'll fail the function. Because if I do vertical line test, would have failed, right? So I'm gonna start from this point, going this way, and then arrow here. And this is gonna be a closed circle because this one says close. And I don't really graph from here to here. This one I'm gonna erase. So I'm gonna erase that part. And then I might finish my graph. So you can try on decimal, see if the graphs come out to be a cent. Bo, can you help me type in those 3 functions on the side and see if they're this way? So you have to cancel this part.
Mister, why did you start on the white line?
You had to click this.
Do you mean why it's like over here?
Yeah, like why don't we start
Because we started at 1,
Yeah.
and we went down to upper 2, but since.
Brace, you know how to brace, right?
Yeah, since
Can I do it?
Yeah,
You
Bryce, you
don't
wanna help
graph
him?
that
Yeah.
part, right? So that's why you start over here, you plot it, but you don't graph it. That way you know where to start. Make sense?
Yeah.
I put the y equals, right?
You can put y go do, yeah. And then just do the brace.
I can't see nothing.
And do brace. Brace, you guys have to learn how to type in this because how do you check your answers?
How do you type brace?
Brace is shift and bracket. So you see a bracket and you shift left.
Okay.
X is less than -2.
This is good for TV.
And then brace, closer brace. See that line is going forward? Although it's different than this because we have a different scale. Half of x plus 2. half x plus 2. No, you had it wrong.
Wow.
X.
And then do a brace. See, this line was all the way here, right? But I don't want to do that. I only want it from here to here because of restriction. From -2 x, -2 less than x less than 2. Brace. Okay, now we're gonna see that this one just like this part, right? Because it's only from -2 to +2. Last one.
-3 over 2?
Uh-huh. And when x is greater than 2. Brace.
Yeah.
How much time I have?
4 minutes.
But
Good.
what time is it? Oh, okay. I have another step. So we're not gonna say.
Good. Perfect. Do you see that? It's just like what we our things right here is this part is the red line, this part is the black line. But it's not finished yet. Don't pack things up, please. I have 3 more minutes left. I'm gonna go over something more important. Close all the lights right now. No, some light. Okay. Do you see that? This part is almost alike, right?
Yeah.
Almost alike. But that's more than that because I can ask you to evaluation. Okay, I can ask you evaluation. So I'm gonna ask you evaluation unless I can turn the things here. So I can ask you what is f of, and we're gonna equal to those values. So if I were to say -4, is that gonna be the blue or purple or red? If I were to say -4. Blue. Okay, so -4, I will use the blue one. If it's -4, but what is the y value?
4.
Huh?